G'day mate and welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. As you can see, we're out in this outpost. I've laid down all the train track. I've actually... No. Okay, turns out I haven't brought enough stack inserters with me. So we're going to have to go back to base. Well, actually, where is the edge of the logic network? Right there. Put that there. Request in 50 of those. There is 50 being delivered. We'll pick them up in a minute. I've brought all the belts together. Now, I could use... This is a pretty crappy line, and this is a pretty crappy line. So I could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and merged the top one in with this one, and the bottom one in with that one. And then sort of merged one of those together with another not-so-great line. But instead, what I actually really want to do is I want to use an 8-lane balancer, and I'm going to have this blueprint actually available down in the description. As always, if you find out in the description the blueprint's not there, post a comment. Even better, hit me up on Discord, and then I'll go put in the forgotten blueprint. But we're going to paste this down. Now, this is an 8-to-8 balancer that is designed in yellow belt. With the joys of Upgrade Planner, we can just pop that over the top, and voila. Now, it's 8 to 8, but I don't want 8. I only want 4 to feed into what we've already got here. So, I'm only going to take 4 belts out of this. Now, there's lots and lots of different balancers out there on the internet. The reason I use this one, and it is why I use this particular one, is this is a throughput unlimited 8 to, well, it's a X to X balancer. I could put 2 lanes in here and take 8 out the bottom. And hopefully I remember as well, up in the top right hand corner, I'll actually link to a whole video that explains balances in more depth. But I can put 8 lanes in and take 2 lanes out. And I'll get what goes in on those 8 lanes evenly distributed over any of these 2 lanes at the bottom. Same with, I could put 2 lanes in the top and take 8 lanes out the bottom, and those 2 lanes will be evenly split over all 8. It means that I can be very, very variable with this particular balancer, and I don't have to look for a 7 to 4 balancer. I can just paste this in and then ignore anything else. Actually, let's conserve some belt and bring this in this way. Let's just pick up all of that, and I'll go grab my stack. Yeah, I'll go grab my stack inserters as well. Yoink. Ideally, you should make sure you've got everything before you go out to outpost. But as you can see now we have personal robots, and enough power to keep them charged. Or personal robots and enough power to keep them well and truly charged. You can see we sort of become a little bit of a one-man engineering machine. We can have enough stuff in our inventory. We can literally go and put down an outpost very, very quickly without too much hassle. So I need a train. I need some fuel. Oh look, we've got natural fuel laying around. Nope, it's in the trash slots. I want to jump into this train, and we want to go from here. I can't do that. Iron load 2 full to iron unload empty. Turn you on automatic because we're iron unload 2. No, we want to go to iron load 2. Inventory full. Doesn't matter. We can take a half load back with us. Now, obviously, I've put wood in here. It's less than ideal. What'll actually happen is eventually we'll burn through the wood and we'll get either solid fuel or coal from this main line filtered into the train. Either is preferable. And the idea is this train will get here before these chests are fully empty. Actually, because I'm here, take the wood out and the robots can recycle it for us. Now, I'm going to flick you to manual for just a second. And call you back. because we've got this room to park this train now, the second iron train should park hard up against the rear of this train. And it should be 5 pieces long. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be right about here. So if I put another signal here, I don't have room for another whole train before it starts blocking up the main line. But I can park this train right up the rear of this train. If I set this back to automatic, as soon as it clears the frontmost signal, being here, the next train will come in. Now, if I want to increase the throughput, I can actually put a second signal here. And it actually means when the rear of this train clears this signal, which will move there, the next train can start accelerating in. Just a little bit more throughput when it comes to the trains. They get in and out a little bit faster. But that should mostly fix our iron. Well, that'll partially fix our iron problem. We'll now have enough iron coming in to feed these 4 smelters. The catch is we're still not going to have enough on the total main line of the whole belt of the whole bus. So yeah, we need to go off and go conquest some new areas. Also, I forgot to explain. So we have coal liquefaction technology now. Now, coal liquefaction is, coal liquefaction. It's a research that is handy if you have no oil on the map, and that is really its primary use. It lets you turn 25 heavy oils, so you actually have to bootstrap the system by manually adding some heavy oil in there by already having some oil production somewhere on the map. Throw in some oil and then feed the system coal. And as you can see, we input some steam with 25 heavy oil and output 90 heavy oil with 20 lighter oil with 10 petroleum. And of course, you can crack the heavy oil to light oil and you can crack the light oil to petroleum. And then you just keep recycling around the same heavy oil and add more coal to keep the process going. It's a nice tech if you're absolutely desperate on oil. As you can see, we've got oil on our oil, and in fact, the system is not really running. Well, actually, all the refineries are running, but our oil line still has 90 oil in it at all times. So we're not short on oil in the slightest. If we vastly upgraded our oil production and we had to tap out these other ones, we could look at adding something like that to the system. But realistically, it's easy to put speed modules into our pump jacks and have them go even faster. So now we've said that, combat's what I want to look at. I want to go liberate some areas, and we probably want to start with liberating down here and picking a research. That's the research I want. So the Kovac enrichment process, this process to create uranium-235 from 238, it requires a large amount of 235 as a catalyst. So it'll let us convert the shiny rocks that we're very, very desperate on into more shiny rocks. And the other thing we had to do is request one of these, because in our storage, wherever the hell that's gone, right here, we have 36 used up uranium fuel cells doing nothing currently. So we need to start processing those in some way, shape or fashion. Where am I making miners? I have no idea. I don't even know if I am making miners. I am. 170. Cool. Okay. So I want to pop one of these, and actually, no, I'm going to pop this in the make everything. Mainly so it's in a centralized location. And I'm going to put it right here, because actually, let's put it here instead. Just so it's in a central centralized location. We're not actually going to do anything important with it, but what we are going to do is we're going to bring in used up uranium fuel cells with an inserter. And we're going to take the used uranium fuel cells. So we're going to bring in 5 used up uranium fuel cells, and we'll get back 3 of the uranium 238. And I'm going to put them into an active provider chest. We covered that before. Anything that goes in this chest instantly goes to storage. It means that this can never back up. It does mean that we need to find some way to bring the 238 out of storage and do something with it. So we need to probably look at expanding this system along with... Actually, no, the chests are full. Maybe we don't need to expand this system. Maybe it's going at full speed. It looks like it's going at full speed. So until we go and tap into some new uranium, this looks like it's running perfectly fine. We do have 4.8k in that chest, 4.8k in that chest, another 3.4. We've got like almost 15,000 of the crappy uranium for only 67 of the good one. So it is something to keep in mind that yes, you auto trash, all of those. So yeah, you do get a lot of the crappy uranium, and this is one of the reasons we go for the Covrex enrichment process, to turn it into the uranium we can actually have a use for. The only other use we have for the crappy uranium is uranium enriched cannon rounds and bullets. So we'll grab that research as well. Okay. Combat. So, since the last time we did combat, we've played with the flamethrower, we've played with the SMG, we do have the combat shotgun, which I've shown off by shooting out trees. But the other thing we now have access to is the personal laser defense. Probably going to remove some legs, actually, to play with this. Actually, maybe I'll put the legs back till we get there. Change to our shotgun. So, personal laser defense is, again, something that goes in your armor. It basically lets your armor shoot lasers automatically for you, which is great because it just takes all the challenge out of it. It is something that it does get upgraded with the energy weapons damage, laser turret damage, combat laser damage, and combat robot beam damage. Personal laser damage is under, I don't know, just laser. So it does get those upgrades. And we can see very quickly, it's fairly efficient at taking things out. As for our combat shotgun, let's find something a little bit deeper to go sink our teeth into. This is a decent sized nest. They're both decent sized nests. So the combat shotgun, sort of, it has a large area effect where it shoots in front of you. Actually, let's tone down our lasers. But it doesn't really do a lot of damage. We're having problems taking out big biters coming right at us. It does go through and it will hit the biter behind them. Whereas if I go to an SMG, I can fairly efficiently take these guys out. So, I guess that's my warning for the combat shotgun. It's great at taking out the spawners, because they're a pretty large target to hit. And at the same time, I can shoot through them into, into whatever's behind them. But if we take out the last of these guys, it means the whole southern wall is ours. Yeah, my personal laser defense is doing way better than the combat shotgun. Oops, take those out, put that back in. So yep, this is now all our area. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. Pull that out, pull that out. Put my robo port back in. So as for combat, I think the next challenge will be taking out all of this. But I do want a few more combat options tested, because we do have the poison capsules, which we haven't gone into, along with the defender and the distractor capsules. So we will go into those in the next combat edition. Unfortunately, it's going to be a while away because I have to set up the actual automation to get them up and running. Okay, what else do we need? We've got that happening, we've got that happening. We're doing the Covrex right now. That's what I wanted to cover. So we got modules done, and we haven't done anything with them. Where's our make almost everything? Here we go. Down here somewhere, we want to add into our make almost everything. Beacon production. So this transmits the effect of modules to nearby friendly entities. So I want to get one of these built. Put in a splitter again. And gonna need this copper belt to come to here. No, I don't have a better spot. Okay. You're gonna make cable. One inserter in, a couple long head inserters, power everything up. Yep, and then output. Yeah, I didn't really leave myself room, but that's fine. We'll add it right there. Okay, so beacons are very strong and very, very powerful. As you can see, they take a while to craft, but they'll let us use something like a speed module and transmit it to not just one machine, but several machines. The catch is they use a lot of power, a lot. So let's look at something that's a little bit slow. Nothing's a little bit slow at the moment. Science is a little bit slow. Let's request in some of those and some of those. Actually, probably a better example is green circuits. Green circuits is not really slow, but it's definitely suboptimal. Am I in the network? Yes. Come on, robots, bring me stuff. And, oh, we unlocked Assembly Machine 3s a while ago. And Blue Belt. Okay. Let's have you make Blue Belt stuff. You make Blue Belts. And you make Blue Splitters. And you need red circuits as an input. Let's just start. Okay, I have my speed and I have my modules. Okay, actually, this is a better example. So we've got gears. We're using a lot of iron to make gears. So this is a quick, easy one. We can put in some productivity modules. And I'll put them in this machine first. So this machine has a crafting speed of 0.75. And it's taking 2 iron to make a gear. This machine now has a productivity of 20%. So it actually has... Let's cut that off. It has this extra bar now, as you can see. Each time this completes, we get free gears at the cost of power. So we've gone from 150 watts to 389 kilowatts worth of power. So a really big difference in power draw. But now we are getting free items. The catch is, and there's a catch, that we're producing more pollution. And the machine also runs a lot slower. Now, we can offset that speed by putting right here one of these beacon things and filling it with a couple of speed modules. So, as you can see, it's got an area of effect itself. Everything inside its area of effect has a speed boost of 50%. So, it runs 50% faster. This guy now has a crafting speed of 0.9 compared to its friend, who had a crafting speed of 0.75 down here. So he's even faster. He still has that 20% bonus productivity. The catch is his energy consumption went from, it was at 160% to 230%, I think it was. 230%, so a lot more power with a lot more pollution. The biggest thing is, we're now getting free items. So it means, actually, we need less iron on the belt to feed this build. Now, if I very conveniently take all these prod mods and put them in every single item in this build, and then use my undergrounds wisely... I should be able to take beacons and put beacons through the whole build. Actually, we'd want one afterwards. And come on, robots. So this guy, we're now up to a crafting speed of 1.2. So they're even faster. With a lot more power consumption, like a lot, extreme amounts of power consumption. But that's fine, because now we're using less iron. So now I want to do the same thing to green circuits. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab those prod mods, and I'm going to put them in these machines. Now when I use productivity modules, it actually changes the ratio. Originally we had a 3:2 ratio. When we use productivity modules with the assembly machine 3, which I haven't automated, but I'm about to, because we're going to upgrade this whole system to an assembly machine 3, it actually means it becomes a 1:1 ratio, which means I can drop a beacon in there without any hassle. Also, fairly conveniently, I can drop another one in there just by changing over the power pole placement, and another one in there. Again, changing over the power pole placement. And we can start really bumping up the amount of circuits we're making for the same amount of iron and copper being brought into the system. Cost is power. A lot of power. We can't really see it with 1 or 2 machines, but as the machines add up, we'll definitely be able to see it. Where are we making assembly? I didn't leave room. Okay, so we need to make speed module 1s, which is off this red-green belt. I don't need that anymore, I hope. So, pop that there. Sewing machine 3s, just need that and that. So we can, come on, red belt. I can then do a couple of inserters like that to make speed modules. You to make an assembler 3. You're in the robot network, so just have a simple request in, passive out, cap that to 50, and okay. It's maybe a little bit too much requesting 90 in. How about just 10? Sure, you can request 100 and something module ones. Now these take 15 seconds, these take half a second. So I'm going to put some of those speed modules in there, because that gives us plus 100% crafting speed. So that drastically reduces the amount of crafting time. And the only thing I needed to start making blue belts was lubricant, which electric engines is there. Is sort of on the bus. What do we want? I have to come back and replace everything with undergrounds, but so it's probably going to be easy to come in the middle of the nope, there and there. So yeah, I can come in beside one of these gear belts. Straight bit of pipe. Under. Done. Bring this pipe down. Plug that in there, plug that in there. It's going to use very, very little lubricant. And all my gears. Absolutely all of my gears. We're going to want to change these to buffer chests. Set you to connect. We want you to make no more than 1,000. Copy, paste, change that to undergrounds. 100. And copy, paste that one in there and set you to be splitters. Copy, paste, change you from red to blue, uncap that, copy, paste, set you to be blue, and uncap that, and copy, paste, set you to blue as well, uncap that. Because yes, these need 80 gears, these need just 10 gears, but a lot of them, and these things need 10 gears as well. So it, 80 gears there, 40 gears there, no gears there. You can see how quickly that we start chewing through gears. It does mean I can start using blue belt. So like these last couple of inserters aren't actually running because now, because of the extra speed and the extra productivity, we've used the same amount of iron. Well, we've probably used less iron at this point, but we can't get gears on the belt anymore whereas before this was ratioed out to produce, take in 2 red belts of iron and produce 1 red belt of gears. So we can now go back to our trusty handy dandy upgrade planner, upgrade that, and upgrade that. And once that's blue belt, from there to there, we should be able to see blue belt, blue belt. It's still not outputting. There's still no room for us to output. It's that efficient. Actually, let's take... let's put a blue insert, a blue splitter in there, and I'll put in a blue splitter there. What's under attack? Oh. You're mean, biters. Just upgrade the wall. Is that more throughput? Nah. Okay. Next thing we can actually do is we can upgrade these guys to the next level of assembler. Assembler Mark III actually has a crafting speed of 1.25. So they craft even faster. At the same time, we go from 2 module slots to 4 module slots. So I can upgrade my modules. We're still waiting for some more to be produced. But as you can see now, we have a crafting speed of 1.75, a lot of pollution, an awful lot of energy consumption. But as far as this side goes, like, we've gone from, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tier 2 assemblers down to 4. 4 looks like the point. It's maxed out. Like, this guy can't spin. And that definitely looks like a red belt's worth of output. A blue belt's worth of output. Oh no, there's one little belt right there at the end. There's always one belt. Okay, you're now outputting... Nope, we still can't. You still can't output. Oh, occasionally it's getting a little bit of output. It still means we've got 50% extra production on the belt. We're still running out of iron. So for essentially the same amount of iron input, with 50% more gears on the belt. And you can see very easily that the right-hand side's staying fully backed up. The left-hand side's having problems because we're still using level 2 inserters with only 2 productivity modules. If we get the higher modules in there, we'll probably be fine. The higher assembly machines with the better modules. Better modules do require that we have red circuits right away at the end of the bus, which actually means we need green circuits in plastic. They're not quite making it nearly as far. Again, handy dandy upgrade planner. Confirm that everything's on red belt already, and then make all that red belt. That'll probably help things. Okay, what I actually want to do is I'm going to cut you, cut you, and cut you, and copy that one, and then paste it like that. That way they're pasted down requesting the modules and the actual assembly machines. So they will get built in time, and as soon as they get built, those modules will automatically... Those modules, as they become available, will automatically get placed in the inserters. And then I want to do the exact same here. I want to upgrade this all to tier 3 assemblers, along with the extra productivity modules, and start doing that for all the green circuits all the way down the belt. So we can start using less materials and having higher output. So, yeah. That's going to be the plan for the next episode. Modules take a lot of time to produce. And a lot of people at this sort of point sort of like turn off research to have extra resources to then turn on module production and really gear it up. It's not something I'm a fan of, and it's actually something I'm not going to do in this playthrough. What we're going to do is we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, upgrading machines bit by bit by bit. One with the higher tier of machine, 2 with productivity modules and speed modules where we can. And then we're just going to wait for them to be produced. As soon as we notice that this is not flashing saying, hey, we need modules, we'll then go upgrade something else. And we're going to start with the things that we're short on. 1 being iron, 2 being copper. Copper for obviously green circuits. So green circuits is actually running really, really well. Red circuits is one of the choke points, which is green circuits and plastic. Maybe no, plastic's maxed out. Petroleum is actually maxed out. So it's probably a case of maybe looking at blue belt for plastic. We'll bring that red belt right the way to the end so we can rule out that as a possible item. Because once it's red belt start to end, we know that we have the maximum throughput for that type of belt. So yeah, maybe more plastic. Maybe like some of these guys can't output. So maybe more plastic, maybe a higher belt for plastic. Either or. It's down to time will tell. So I'm going to leave this episode here. As always, thank you guys for watching. So again, a little bit longer than episode than I would have liked, but I thought it was important to try and get modules sort of ironed out. We're going to have uranium ammo really soon. Actually, we're going to have to, in the next episode, play with the Covrex enrichment process. Because that's going to be something we're desperately going to need. And from looks of it, I need a second copper outpost as well. Actually, I need better loading for the copper. And then I probably need a second copper outpost. So yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here. I'll have the bots go see what they can do up at that end. And we can look at tapping one of these other copper nodes in a future episode. So, thank you guys for watching. As always, do hope you're enjoying the series. And I'll see you in the next episode. Alright.